Well, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Real Estate Investing. I'm your host, Sharon Vornholt, and I'm so happy you're tuning in today. My guest today is Michigan native Devon Higgins, and we are going to talk about the power of professional marketing for your real estate investing business. Devon is a seasoned investor, he's an entrepreneur and a realtor. And in addition to his real estate business, he owns a couple of other businesses. One is called PhotoUp, which I find fascinating. It's a real estate marketing services company. And the second one is Folio Websites, a website design and development business. So it's safe to say that Devon has a little bit going on in his life all the time. But welcome to the show, Devon.
Thanks, Sharon, for having me. Yes, a busy life, but a good one. I love all of it that I'm doing.
I know. It's fun, isn't it? Let's start out with, I just kind of touched on your background, but I'd like to know a little bit about how you got started in this particular business and how you chose these things to put your focus on.
Yeah. So for me, kind of my journey into real estate specifically was kind of serendipitous. I have a marketing background. I went to school, got a marketing degree, actually didn't use it right out of college. But then started after about a year of college and working for a logistics company in Chicago, which I hated. No offense to anybody in logistics, just didn't work out for me. But I moved back home here to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and joined a small marketing startup that was doing marketing consulting. And at the time, I kind of got my feet wet, my hands dirty in marketing, building websites, helping out with social media, doing digital emailers, building websites, right? All of that sort of stuff for different companies. And eventually went out and started my own company, an own business, doing similar things and working for a couple of different realtors as well. So from there, I then got approached by a startup by the name of PhotoUp, met up with their owners, and they had just asked if I could help them with some sales and marketing. At the time, PhotoUp was just about 4 people here in North America, and we had a small team of about 10 or 15 people over in the Philippines. But this company was just doing real estate photo editing. So gaining clients over here in North America that would shoot real estate all day, and they needed an editing team to edit their images at night so that they can be delivered to their real estate clients in the morning. So that's the team over in the Philippines that was doing that. So I fell in love with the team, with the company, with the mission, this idea of social impact and impacting the lives of others through building a beautiful business was really what captured me. And they asked me to come on full time, and I did. And have kind of worked for them ever since, and am now partner in the business and loving what we're doing.
Well, that's awesome. It's so interesting because thinking back to, I've been in real estate in some form or another for more than 3 decades. And things have changed so much from the way they used to be. Now, today, sophisticated photos and videos and things like that, whether you are an investor trying to sell your nicely rehab property or a realtor, you've got to think about staging. You've got to think about having top quality photos. You can no longer just get by with a few crappy photos and think you're going to sell the property. It just isn't going to work.
It's amazing. We have a stat that we put out there that right now, even in today's market, only about 35% of agents actually use professional photographers to market their listing. And as you mentioned too, I mean, we've seen the industry grow and change over time as well. We're about coming up on our 11th year this year of being in business. And throughout that time, as I mentioned before, we started with just photo editing, right? That was our bread and butter. That's what we did. But we've had to grow and change and adapt, right? Especially through COVID. Things like virtual staging, things like property websites, things like virtual tours are huge and now almost expected on most listings, most high-end listings for sure. And I think the trend is going to continue into pretty much every listing that you see.
I would agree with that. So you work with investors and agents?
Yep, investors and agents, really anybody who's marketing a listing, property managers, all of the sorts. So we work with some folks who are doing listings FSBO, right? It's really anybody listing a property.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense that you would do that. Now, when we go back a little bit to your real estate background, you were a wholesaler. Is that correct? You were wholesaling mainly?
Yeah, so I've got my license actually about 2 years ago. Have definitely done some wholesaling, done some investing as well, and also work as an agent. So kind of dabbling around in the different aspects of real
Mm,
estate with kind of marketing being my background in real estate. That's how I've started. That's what I know. That's what I've done. But for me, kind of mid COVID, I decided, hey, I'm sitting at home all day, and we know that we're pivoting our business,
mhm,
PhotoUp, to gear a little bit more towards agents and investors,
mhm,
and trying to actually hit that part of the market as well, not just media professionals or photographers. So I decided to
mhm.
go out, get my license. And yeah, that's kind of where I started.
Well, that makes sense. Plus, your license gives you access to a lot of agents, a lot of agent events. From a marketing and networking perspective, that license is really important for what you do.
Totally. I've even gone to the point now with the business of becoming a certified educator of CE. So continuing
Mm,
education here in the state for agents to be able to utilize my resources, my knowledge, specifically around marketing, so they can get some CE as well.
just from my own personal knowledge, what's involved with doing that? So you have to be a realtor to do that.
Have to be a realtor in Michigan. It's actually
Hmm.
pretty lax. You have to be a realtor, I believe, at least for a year or two, but then
Hmm.
just apply to become a educator and tell basically the board what information you're going to be presenting. You have to submit an
Hmm.
outline for each of your courses, and then have some sort of way to actually teach, whether it be in person or online. And then from there, yeah, you're able to teach C.
That's very interesting because here I know we have attorneys that provide that training and other people that are professionals, but they're not necessarily realtors. So I was curious to see if maybe do you all have that situation too, where maybe it's um, an attorney that would come in and do CEs or
There's definitely there's like the 40-hour course that you have to get to be
mm,
licensed, and that's a little bit different than just the continuing education. And
mm,
the continuing education here in Michigan at least is you have some extracurriculars that you can do and a certain number of hours of those, and then you
mm,
have legal requirements as well.
right.
I haven't done any of the legal. That one I think you would need a lawyer for to at least kind of build up the material. But I focus again mainly on marketing
Right.
for real estate.
Right. So let's talk about that. So you and I talked a little bit before the show about real estate investors don't always understand why they should use more professional marketing. They're focusing on getting the next deal or two, and many of them get a lot of their deals strictly through networking.
Sure.
So I'm kind of on a mission to for them to up their game a little bit. So let's talk about ways they can that it would benefit them to use professional marketing in their own businesses.
Yeah. So, I mean, just I have a couple of stats here for you that are great for investors, agents, really anybody in the real estate space. What we've seen is that using professional photos, just photos on your listing, is going to increase traffic by over 110%. So just getting that professional photography out there, and again, professional photography can come in many ways, right?
Mhm.
It's just not snapping a photo with your iPhone or point and shoot camera, but it's actually getting
Mhm.
those photos edited, whether
Mhm.
that be a professional photographer or through a third party system, maybe something like what we're doing. And we have an app that's coming out. We can get into that maybe a little bit
Mhm.
later. But the other thing that I think people don't realize is so impactful is video. Video for marketing is huge. It's very engaging. It keeps people's attention much longer. That stat there is actually any kind of marketing with video attached to it increases traffic by over 400%. So four
Wow.
times that amount of just photos. And video can be, I mean, again, a bit scary for some who are not used to doing it. It's really about just getting yourself out there and creating something. There's
Mhm.
plenty of video editing companies. There's plenty virtual assistants that are able to help you with that. And Sharon, I know you mentioned you have one in the Philippines. Our team is based in the Philippines. We do a lot of VA work as well. And you can find amazing, talented people for a fraction of the cost of what you might be able to find here that do incredible work and are incredible human beings. So I think there's a lot of opportunities out there that you don't have to look at it as this big, hairy, scary thing. But just it's about getting started with something that's going to move you in that direction.
I think for some investors, I tell them, even if you are really scared to get in front of the camera, and that's a lot of people, start out by getting used to the idea of doing video, even if it's doing walkthroughs of properties. Start slowly. And then you, at some point, though, we talked about this too, you can't be the best kept secret in town. You're going to have to get your face on that video with, at some point in time. If you want to grow your business, you're going to have to do that. But you can take baby steps, and then you can maybe, take some decent video and send it off to a company like Devon's company and get it edited. There are workarounds to all of these things. You don't have to become a video editor yourself to have great video, and it doesn't have to cost a fortune. And I was looking on your website a little bit, so let's talk about that a little bit. I know you all seem to have some really reasonable prices for basic video editing, photo editing, things like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, a standard video for us is going to cost around $35 to edit the video. And that can be shot just from your iPhone, right? Give us the clips of panning around through your home or property, and then we'll kind of stitch that together. We'll put in an intro and outro. We'll add your logo. We'll add some background music and make it look great for you, right? So just by taking probably 20, 30 minutes to shoot a couple video clips of your home, you can create a professional video within about 24 hours. Photo editing for us, price-wise, starts at around $1 an image. We also are coming out with an app later this year, so you can actually shoot photos from your phone, but have them professionally edited. We actually have some AI technology that we're working on, so you can get them professionally edited through our AI capabilities and get those photos back within about 5 or 10 minutes. As we know in real estate, everything should be or wants to be done yesterday. So we're trying to find better ways to be able to do that for any of our investors, agents, clients, whoever they may be.
That is a very affordable price. And I know that Devon's has good luck with his Philippine VAs, and I've had great luck with mine. I look at that like when I hire someone as if they are just a regular employee. I do the same screening, the same. We were talking about Devon uses Skype a lot. I use Zoom. I've been lucky enough to find people that use Zoom, which I like a little bit better. But you can talk to these people. You can find out their skills, and you can find people for a very reasonable price. Now, for higher end skills, there are some things that you're going to pay more for. Sure. You get a web developer and you look at paying him 20 some dollars an hour. If you're looking in the US, you're looking at $100, $125 an hour. And I'm not talking about some off the wall guy. I'm talking about somebody who's got an MBA in this. Right. So you need to broaden your thinking, and I think get used to outsourcing some of the things that are holding you back because you don't want to learn the technology. You're not good at it, and you shouldn't be doing all the things in your business. So that's another thing. It's hard for people to let go of.
100%. What I always kind of fall back to is it comes down to opportunity cost, right? And your time is valuable, especially if you're working in real estate. Your time is best spent going out and getting new deals, networking with people, right? Doing the things that only you can do. And as an investor, right, you're wearing multiple hats. We know that anybody in real estate is. You're your own brand, you're your own marketing person, you're your own business developer, right? You're your own billing and accountant. So the things that you can outsource or can get off your plate that are not high value tasks for you specifically, do that the sooner you can, because the sooner you can, you free up yourself to get more of that business that only you can generate.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. You need to know what your strengths are. And there are some things that you cannot give off give up to someone else. Like you have to be the face of your business. If you're creating content, there's a point at which you need to be the creator of the content, but then you just send it off and have someone else make it all pretty for you. Unless that's your skill. But let's face it, for most of us, when we try to do that, we waste endless hours and we end up with a less than great job. So sure, you can do it, but why would you?
Right. And to go back to what you were talking about earlier about some folks being scared to get in front of the camera, right? I think that real estate is just such an interesting business and industry to be in, because everybody really at the end of the day is their own personal brand, right? You're the one kind of selling, it's your sphere. I also like how you say it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And the way to get people to know you is to get your face out there, to get your brand, right? To be marketing consistently. And it's not just marketing for the property or the listing that you have right now. It's marketing that space so that you can get the next one and the next one after that. And whoever sees that marketing material that you put out there, whether it's the photos, the walkthrough video, your face kind of talking about the space, it's then kind of getting driven into people's minds to think, hey, when I have this opportunity, when I have this home for sale, I want to go to that person because I've seen them doing this consistently over time.
Exactly. So I'm a big person I'm a proponent of personal branding. People will remember you. They'll remember your name, not so much your company name. And you shouldn't be branding your company name alone, because one day you might decide to do something a little bit different. If you brand yourself as something wholesaling company, then you decide one day you want to do what Devon does, you're going to be in a really awkward position. But if you've branded yourself as the person who does these things, they're not going to think anything about it if you add another thing to your resume. So always be branding yourself. And my advice too is, if you're brand new, go out and network. Now you may think, I don't have a brand, I don't have anything to offer to anyone. So go to your real estate investors meeting or whatever meetup that you go to, and just be honest. Say, hey, Devon, I'm brand spanking new, but I'm here to learn. Just go meet people. Trust me, they're going to remember that if you say that. So don't wait till you think you're worthy of having a brand to start to build a brand. You should start building your brand from day one.
People, I think, underestimate that fact too, of the willingness in real estate to share knowledge, right? To be able to help one another. I think it's an interesting industry in that regard. I mean, we've been working with photographers and media professionals for a long time, since the very beginning of our business. And they are very close to the chest with everything that they do. They don't want to promote anything. They don't want to share anything, because that's their kind of trade secret, right? That's their differentiator. With agents or investors or anybody else kind of in that real estate space, they're an open book. So use that to your advantage. And it's okay to not know everything. Nobody knows everything, but everybody knows something, right? I think you can provide value even if you think you don't have it. Right now, there's probably something that you know that others don't. And it's the willingness to say, hey, I don't know everything. Can you help me? That I think can open a lot of doors.
Another thought along those lines is to talk to people and say, what can I do to help you in your business? Volunteer to go and be of service to them, expecting nothing in return. And I will guarantee you'll get a whole lot in return. I cannot tell you how many investors I've talked to that go over 2 evenings a week and work in someone's business, and they get the wonderful gift of learning about that person's business. And they also, like you said, have something to contribute, something that they know. Maybe they have a skill that the other person doesn't have, but it's always a win-win if you go at it the right way. Now, you can't go over there as I'm going to take. It has to be a back and forth, but people are, like you said, they're much more willing to help you in real estate investing than in a lot of other businesses.
Totally. Totally. And I think you bring up a great point. I mean, volunteering is a great way to get started and build your network. And at the end of the day, you volunteer, you go out, spend an hour or two of your time, you meet some incredible individuals. You also make yourself feel good, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
volunteering is a great way to give back. I don't think anybody feels
Mhm.
bad about volunteering for their community, for an organization. So I think that's 100% true.
Well, we tell people at our real estate investors group has about 500 or 600 people generally that show up every month for the meeting. And the job that no one wants that's the to do, but is the best job in the house for getting known is the checking people in, because
Sure.
you have on your name tag and everybody gets to know you if you do that job for 6 months. So I always tell people volunteer for that job and
Sure.
then everybody will know your name. And it's a win-win for you for sure.
Absolutely. Yep. I think knowing your name, putting a name or a face to a name,
Mhm.
that's the most powerful thing that you can do as anybody in real estate, right? You are your
Mhm.
brand. You are going to be the one that's doing the deal, closing everything on your end, and people are going to remember that.
So let's talk a little bit about, we've talked about doing videos of the properties that you're selling
Mm.
or for staging purposes and those types of things. What about content? What's your take on if investors want to maybe shoot a training video, 5, 10, 15 minutes and send it over to you? Is that something that you all do too?
That's something we haven't done a ton of. What I
Mhm.
would recommend in that regard is hiring likely a virtual assistant. We have
Mhm.
virtual assistants that have all sorts of skills. Again, it
Mhm.
could be somebody who just does video editing, and that's kind of their
Mhm.
primary skill, that does photo editing. They can help you build property websites, do some virtual staging for you. So we have people with multifaceted talents. And
Mhm.
it's a matter of looking at some of these folks, at least on our end, how we've set things up as really an employee, an extension of your business.
Mhm.
We have all of our VAs work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for you. So we know that you're not going to maybe have video for them to do that entire time, but you probably have some administrative task or some marketing that they can be doing for you in the meantime, whether that's prospecting,
Mhm.
sending out emails, helping you with your social media accounts. Again, some of the tasks that you just have been too busy to kind
Mhm.
of jump into yourself, or tasks that just don't require your direct attention.
Mhm.
There's a VA that's capable of doing some of those things for you.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: if do you provide services, those types of services for people, in addition to the photo? Let's say they don't have uh, photo or video editing for all the time. Maybe they don't do a listing every week. You have other things that the VAs can do for them.
Yeah. So we do trainings with all of our VAs based on kind of what the client's needs are. If the VA
Hmm.
doesn't come equipped with those skills to begin with, we have educational tools to get them trained up on, say, social media, on email
Hmm.
marketing, on lead generation,
Hmm.
whatever it might be. And we know there's a million different ways to run a business and everybody's a little bit different. So at the end of the day, it's kind of up to you as to how you want to onboard them and get them up and running. But what we provide is kind of the back end support to make sure that that
Hmm.
VA is supported in whatever task or role you want them to accomplish.
If someone were interested in hiring one of these folks, do they hire them? They have to hire them for 40 hours a week, or how does that work?
Our virtual assistants right now are full time. However, we are looking at some part time capabilities. So the
Hmm.
ability to only have somebody work for you a couple hours a day.
Hmm.
So that would be another great way to get started with a virtual assistant, is just only have them working for your business for 2 hours a day, right? Give them a couple tasks to do, kind of test them and vet them out. And then as you grow and scale your business, which I
Hmm.
believe is everybody's goal,
Hmm.
then you have the capability to kind of grow with that VA as well.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. Now, you mentioned that you have an AI tool coming out. Tell me
Mhm.
about that.
Yeah. So, with kind of us being in business specifically around photographers and real estate media professionals for the past 10 years, we've also seen that that market has kind of a cap, it has a limit. And as I
Mhm.
said before, only about 35% of agents, at least, or investors are using professional marketing or professional photography for their listings. So we're trying to just make it easier and more accessible for agents or investors to be able to take photos from their phone and use them for their marketing materials.
Mhm.
So we're going to be coming out later this year with an app that you can download, have in your phone, and take photos and send them over to our system, our AI editing system, have them turned around to you within 5 or 10 minutes, and then use those images for your listing or for social media material. From there, once you have the photos, you'll then be able to do things like virtually stage a room, build a property website. We're going to eventually be adding in floor plan capabilities to where you can just take a video of the space and our team will actually create a 2D or 3D floor plan for you as well. So trying to give you all the marketing tools that you need just from your pocket, carrying with you all day, every day anyway.
Does this tool have a name yet?
Yeah, so Agent Up is going to be the name of the brand and the app that you're going to be seeing
Mhm.
later this year. So go ahead and you can Google Agent Up or go to agentup.com and check out some of that material. Yeah.
So how cost effective is that, Devon, for someone wanting to use that?
Yeah, so the app is going to start out at around $2 an edit. So $2 an image.
Wow.
With our
Okay.
our other editing service, it does get a little bit cheaper for photographers who are doing this at volume. But
Mhm.
for agents or investors, it is $2 is where we're starting. That cost could come down over time depending on
Mhm.
the volume that you're sending. But for $2 for a professionally edited image that's back to
Yeah.
you within minutes, really is not that bad.
No, that's pretty cheap, I would say. So I have just a kind of an off the wall question. So you've
Yep.
got several different businesses. So how do you stay on top of all of that? What systems have you put in place, or what procedures? People are always fascinated by how someone has so many things going on.
Yeah. I think again, it's delegation of tasks and it's building a team. I
Hmm.
could never do all of the things that I do by myself. Just not possible. There's not enough hours in the day. I'd never spend time with my family. I'd never see friends, right? We've had the benefit of building an incredible team, both here in North America. We have 5 employees here in North America now, and we have about 200 staff over in the Philippines,
Wow.
including 3 of our VPs over there who have been with the company since almost the very beginning. And it's about building trust, building relationship. I've been able to go over to the Philippines and be with our team about 8 times in the past 10 years. And it's just incredible to see what these individuals are able to do. The world is becoming flatter in the sense that you're able to communicate and work with people so easily now with
Mhm.
technology. And I think COVID for us was kind of a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
forced us to get very remote very quick, where that wasn't really as prevalent over in the Philippines, at least before COVID.
Hmm.
But I think everybody jumped into that game together and figured it out. And luckily, we've been able to have a team that stepped up to the plate and has absolutely crushed it. We haven't been able to go over there for the past 3 years, and hopefully we're going back over in later this year in
Hmm.
2023. But the team has just been able to do incredible things without us having to be there and kind of hand holding. And I think it speaks a testament, maybe a little bit to our company and our culture, but the folks in the Philippines that are able to do incredible things and have incredible drive and determination and loyalty. If you're able to stay
Hmm.
loyal to them, they're going to stay loyal to you as well.
Hmm. Yeah, it's really incredible. I've found overall that they have a great work ethic. That's
Totally.
been my experience with them time and time again. So I've been happy with them. If you had to give people some marketing advice as to how they can up level their real estate investing business through video and photography in that, what would you tell them?
I'd tell them just simply do it, right? Just do it any way that you can, right? If that's taking your own photos and getting them professionally edited or hiring a professional to do it, again, I think is the best way to start. The
Hmm.
cost is going to be there, right? And you're going to have to spend a little bit on marketing to get something done correctly. But again, don't look at it as just an investment in that single space that you're wanting to market. It's an investment for you and your brand overall and into what you're going to be doing in the future. So I think just getting your hands and your feet wet, get in there, do anything, take some photos. If you've never done it before, hire somebody to do that. If you've never done a video before, that's okay. Try it out. Record some clips of the home, right? Record yourself, even with your camera, your phone that you have with you every day. Try something. And again, you're going to keep improving over time. You're going to figure out what works for you. You're going to figure out ways to get it better and ask questions. Google's a great resource. Figure out what's out there. There are plenty of tutorials online, some of which we've created, that help kind of walk you through how to shoot photos or how to take a video. Leverage that and use that to your advantage in any way.
That's great advice. And I think it all comes back to just do it. Just set a date and say, I'm going to do it on this date. I always think back to the very first video I made. The video, two things. One was this has been many years ago. Somebody challenged me to make a 15-minute training on something. I don't remember now who it was, but it took me like a day and a half to do that 15-minute video where I went, okay, it's good enough for government work. Here you go. And then Pat Flynn of Smart Passive Income, he did a video challenge that if, he had this huge following, millions of followers on his website. And he said, if you'll make a video, he had some specifics and send it to me, I will put the name of your blog or your website on my website. And that was a golden opportunity. So once I got started, it was just such a painful process years ago. I think I made 12 videos so that by the end of it, it was like, okay, whatever, I think you just have to sometimes put yourself in that painful position and just do it. And then you get to okay, whatever, I can do this now.
Yep. And you're gonna look back at that someday and you are gonna chuckle to yourself. Oh my gosh, that was my first thing. But it set you on the path for success, right? If you never change, if you never grow, if you never evolve in what you're doing, you're gonna get left behind. I mean, we were talking about it before the podcast here, Sharon, and just that even AI and these changing technologies and how quickly everything is changing. You either have to adapt and kind of ride that wave and figure that out, or unfortunately you are probably going to get left behind. And there's kind of two tracks that you can take. So again, just doing it, just trying something is going to be better than doing nothing.
I agree 100%. Well, I have learned a lot today in this show, and I think you have certainly got some great resources for people. And I'm going to put all of the links down below in the show notes. But if somebody has a question for you, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you? Can they email you? What can they do?
Yeah. So first and foremost, I'd say check out our website. It is photoup.net. You can also go to photoup.com. Either one will get you to us. We have incredible support material throughout our blog. And you can even chat us live. We have a whole sales and support team that's available. But if you want to reach me directly, you can send me an email. Feel free to shoot me a line. It's Devon, DEVON, @photoup.net. And I'd be more than happy to answer any questions or give you some advice on any of your marketing needs.
Yes, and I think Devon would be a great resource for just about anyone's real estate business. So check it out, and I'll put the links. Got a link to his LinkedIn page. So thanks again, Devon, for coming on the show today. I know you're busy and sharing all this information.
No problem, Sharon. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, it's been fun. And thanks to all the listeners that come out week after week. Reach out to Devon if you have any questions, and please share this show and leave us a rating and a review on iTunes. It helps people to find us. And I will see you same time, same place next week. Bye for now.